welcome to Mums at the Table. You are here with Rachel and Shona. We also have with us Amanda, our dietitian, Dr. Simone. You can ask the doctor.
And Chia.
No, Gia's not in today. No, we wish she was in every day.
We do.
We've got Rach, our tech guru, with us as well. Now, I've got a fun and hard question for you. How did you come up with the names for your kids? Because that can be quite contentious between you and your partner.
Oh, if you and your partner, you and your partner's mother and their father and...
Oh, no. They were well and truly excluded. They were not even in the inner circle on that one.
Oh, really?
No way.
Oh, okay. They had to have the grandfather's... Well, because ours were boys, they had to have the grandfather's name as their middle name. So all our boys have got their grandfather's name as the middle name.
Oh, wow, okay. So they've all got the same one.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So some of them have got quite Jewish handles. Yeah. Others not.
Okay. We took a long time to name our kids, and we've got 3 girls, so we had to keep
Did you get it in time for the births and deaths, or did you have to get an extension?
You've got 60 days. You'll be fine. We didn't name one child in hospital, put it that way. It was always a week after we got home. But for our first 2, we had names ready to go, but we're really comfortable taking our time, and we try out a different name each day in hospital to see what sort of stuck and fit with them. Yeah. So, yeah, we've got our 3 girls, but by the 3rd one, I was just texting, my husband from hospital going, what about this one? What about this one? And he just kept saying no, yes. I'm like, you're just waiting for me to come up with the right name that you'll say yes to. Because, the same gender. I always wanted a boy, and I had boys' names ready to go, but we never got to use them.
So when you were picking the names, did you, how sometimes you have these friends at school or these people at school that will never use their names because?
Look, I'm blessed that I'm not a teacher, because I think for teachers it would be really hard. You'd know so many little brats and whatever that you wouldn't want to name your kid after. No, it was nothing like that. I always wanted something where my kid wouldn't have to necessarily compete with a lot of other people for the same name, like same. So ours are a little bit different, and that's what we both liked, though. So, but it still takes a long time for you both to agree on a name.
It's really interesting because now for Joshua, his name was going to be Benjamin.
Yep.
And I look at Benjamin's and I go, oh, I wish I'd named him Benjamin and not Joshua.
So I was going to say that
because most Joshuas I know are like my Joshua. But now, I look at him and as he's grown up, I go, the name has actually suited him.
They grow into
them.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
My eldest daughter's name is Scout, and a lot of people questioned that when we named her that.
Because that's really different.
It is different, but she's grown into it, and I think that's the thing with kids. I guess the next question is, are you into carrying on family names? And you are.
Yeah.
So what did you name your kids? Share your names, because that question comes up a lot. Parents don't know what to name their kids, so share your names on Facebook with us. But tell us how you came up with them. Did you make them up? Did you find them in a baby book? We'd love to know.
Hey, thanks for joining us for a chat. I'm sitting here with Dr. Simone, and we're going to be talking about protecting our kids from germs and all those nasty things that kids can pick up at doctor surgeries or even in play centres.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
Absolutely. So, look, our kids are curious and inquisitive, and we want to encourage that behaviour, and a lot of children use their mouths to explore, which is wonderful, but we do need to keep them safe from getting sick and also leaving their germs and passing them on to other kids.
Yeah. I know when you go shopping, even when you go shopping, the trolleys, babies holding onto the handles and then taking it home, you can pick up diseases and sicknesses.
Most certainly, absolutely.
So how can we prevent our kids from, getting sick, but, also allowing them some exposure to germs?
Yeah, I guess you don't want to keep them in a sterile environment. You want to leave them with a little bit of dirt and a little bit of stuff that they can build their little immune systems to.
Did you hear that? Little.
But that's different. Like you wouldn't, when you have a newborn, you don't let someone who has got a streaming nose and a rasping cough hold and cough all over your kid. You keep your kid away from people who are unwell.
I definitely think as mums we're becoming better at that. We just know. And I think even visitors know. It's probably best to keep away from children when you're feeling unwell, especially newborns.
Because they're so delicate and they are so tiny and their immune systems are so fresh. So we do have to be very careful with that. A lot of the things, especially when bubs come sort of 6 months and up, they start exploring a lot more with their hands and their mouths. And that's where you need to be really careful about what's available for them to put in. So to hold and to put in their mouths. So, if you've got toys that your child is using, to have a gnaw on. If another kid's going to come and have a gnaw on them, give them a wipe beforehand. I guess your kid's germs are your child's germs, but your child's germs may not be good for another child.
Should we be sterilising our kids' toys maybe every so often, maybe every couple months? Or
Well, look, if it depends on what they do with them. If it's a banging toy that they play and you can give it a wipe down easily, fine. Sometimes you can put soft toys in the freezer and those sorts of things, and that can be good in terms of killing any germs or bugs or anything
Really?
like that. Absolutely.
In the freezer?
Wrap a soft toy in a plastic bag, chuck it in the freezer overnight.
Well, if it fits, there you go. Put it in the
Absolutely.
freezer. Okay.
And I guess the other thing that's really important is to model the sort of behaviour to our kids when they're old enough to be looking at things like washing their hands, covering their mouths when they cough, those sorts of things, to say these are the sorts of behaviours that are going to be important going forward. Kids are not going to be reliable with these things for quite some time,
Yes.
but at least they're being exposed to the right sort of behaviour.
Definitely. I know I drill my girls about washing their hands, using a tissue, not the sleeve, although it has happened. You know, we are a bit guilty of that. But I think even as parents, we just need to use our common sense.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Dr. Simone, for those tips. And I think just as parents, we just need to use our common sense when it comes to keeping our kids clean, safe and healthy. More importantly, healthy. I think that's the take-home message.
Welcome to our segment on nutrition. Amanda, hello.
Hi, Chia.
It's so nice to see you again.
You too.
We have an awesome topic for you today. Our topic is calcium. I know lots of mums want to know how their kids can get calcium, but before we talk about that, we want to know a little bit about calcium. So Amanda, our nutritionist, is going to tell us.
Yeah, well, calcium is important to develop and maintain strong bones and teeth. In fact, 99% of the calcium in our bodies is found in our bones and teeth.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
there you
so
go.
pretty much all of it, and the other 1% is just used to help with the healthy functioning of our heart, our muscles, our blood and our nerves.
Wow.
So lots
okay,
of
so it's an important
functions.
thing.
Yeah.
So, and what happens if you don't get enough?
Yeah, so if you don't get enough, what actually happens is that the calcium in your bones gets taken out from your bones and goes into your blood.
To replenish it.
That's right. And if this happens for long enough, then your bones become weaker and
brittle.
increases your risk of fractures. And as you get older, osteoporosis.
That's why a lot of people when they're older have... Yeah, well, that makes sense. Okay, so what sort of sources do we get calcium from? Like, I could see this amazing food. I've been eating some of these nuts. So.
Yeah. So the sources are dairy products first, so milk, yogurt, cheese, as well as your green leafy veggies, your nuts and seeds, legumes like chickpeas, as well as tofu, dried fruits, in particular figs and apricots.
Figs, I like figs.
As well as your dairy alternatives, so soy milks, almond milk, oat milk. I think I got all the milks.
Yeah, because they're fortified with calcium, aren't they? Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
that's awesome.
As well as the yogurts and cheeses made from these.
And how many serves do we need?
Yeah, so we need for younger children, we need 1 to 1.5 serves per day. For older children and teenagers, they need about 2.5 serves. And for adults, need to be aiming for about 3 serves per day of dairy
So
products.
us mamas need 3 serves a day at least of calcium.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Guys, we had another topic similar to this. It was on B12.
Yeah.
Please, if you're interested in these topics, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mums at the Table. We'll see you next time with some more. Thank you for sharing all this stuff with us. I'm going to eat some more nuts. See you soon.
Hey, don't swipe. Be part of the hype. We are going to be talking about tools you can use online that can help organise your family. Now, who doesn't need help when it comes to the schedules that mums keep and dads when it comes to having children, appointments, doctors? So what tips do you have in terms of using technology to help us organise our lives?
Yeah, I mean, technology's there for us to use and it can definitely help us get more organised. I want to start with the simplest thing that we can do.
Please, I'm all ears.
I think using something like Google Calendar, because we're able to, you can put colors as labels on whose appointment it is. You're able to have reminders that are able to then be sent to your phone or...
So are these apps that you need to download, or can you just type into Google and get that facility on your phone?
You can download them. You can have them as an app on your phone. You can use them on your desktop. If you'd like to have Google the Calendar then on your desktop, and you're able to just update, and it will then share it across to calendars. Wow. Sometimes I forget that I've done this, so I'll open my husband's computer and wonder, why is my stuff on his computer? And then I remember that we've shared our calendars. So it makes it easier to then see what all the family members are doing at
That's
any
so true,
given
because
time.
sometimes, I guess, even as family members, we don't have time to sit down and talk about the details of what's happening in the coming weeks. So Google Calendar allows us to share.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
you can share our calendar,
Yes.
and then put reminders in there as well. So as you're putting things, you can even make recurring events happening. So if, every Tuesday someone has soccer practice, you just put every Tuesday that the soccer practice is coming up.
The struggle is definitely real when it comes to organising ourselves. Like, gone are the days of writing notes and things like that. So what other tips do you have in terms of technology and how we can help?
Another app we can use, it's often used in the business world, but we can use it at home as well, as Trello. Right. So it basically sets up these, you can think of them as digital whiteboards, and there can be one topic for the entire family. You can mark things off when you're done with them. You think of them as little Post-it notes, and they're going down in a long row. Right. And you can keep topics and pin different things onto those things as well. You can even use something like Pinterest to kind of start gathering ideas for your family that you want.
Pinterest.
Do you?
When it comes to recipes, yes.
Yeah, and just use it as a shared site that you can start gathering ideas for your family and what you want to do going forward. I think we've talked before on the show about Cozy, and that it allows you to put calendars and schedules and to-do lists all in one place. I do think when we're looking at some of these tools, especially the ones that are free, we just need to be careful about the terms and conditions. Right. So going through and reading through the privacy policies that they have there, the terms and conditions. If you think about it, if something is free, on the back end, someone's collecting a lot of data. So just make sure that you're able to agree with whatever all the rules are for a lot of these apps that they have.
So some of these apps you have to pay for, and some of them are free.
Yes, but just remembering to look at the terms and conditions to see what privacy you might be giving up, because data is the new currency. Everybody wants your data. So just be careful of that as you're using all of these tools to organize your family as well.
Thanks, Rach, for those great tips. Now, don't forget, you can get more of those awesome tips on our YouTube channel, Mums at the Table. Just subscribe.
Okay, so here's a bit of a tricky conversation, or maybe it's not. How does the parent-child relationship change over time? So your relationship with your children when they're young, and does that differ when they're teenagers? Does it differ when they're adults? You know I'm going to look to you because you've done that, so I'm still at those early stages where I'm probably...
Has it changed for you from being toddler to,
yes, and
early
thank
school
goodness.
and then into 8-year-olds?
Yes, because I struggled with the whole newborn toddler stage, and so as they've been able to talk and reason and start to have that relationship, that's where I've really enjoyed it. So for me, it's really lovely at the moment. But how does it change?
Well,
over time?
it keeps changing, and I think look, I've got friends who have run into problems where their kids, they say their kids are rebelling and they're going off the tracks, but I think a lot of it too is, as parents, as our kids are growing up and becoming adults, we need to change. We need to change the way we talk to them. Yep. Especially when you're, like mine are now 20 and 21 and 30, so you need to talk to them more in a friend type manner. Although you're not their friend, you need to have that somewhat dialogue,
somewhat peer, because they're an adult, or
yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So a peer type conversation where you're not giving advice all the time, you're actually listening to them and waiting for them to ask for your advice. Like, I can't just go out and give advice all the time.
It's probably actually healthy for it to change then, and it has to change because they're growing, they're learning, but so are you. Like, you don't know everything as a parent, so it's interesting to hear you say that. I don't know that I'm idealistic in this area, but I do hope and assume that relationship will still be on good terms throughout the teenage and adult. Maybe I am idealistic.
I think a little bit idealistic there, and everyone I've talked to, all my friends and that, they all say teenage years are hard years, but you do get through them. Once you get into the 20s and you change your mindset, I think you can survive.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet we've got some mums out there who've actually got some really good
Yes.
tips or what they've done or, you know, what they've learned. We'd love to hear from you. So please jump onto our social media, our Facebook, share your knowledge with us and with our village. We'd love to hear it. But that is it from us today. We'd love you to jump onto our YouTube channel and subscribe. You can catch up on all our previous episodes. We will catch you next time. Bye.